in the beginning, it was like pounding the pavement and, cold calling and knocking on doors, arming myself with business cards and catalogs. And I still do that to this day. I like that one-on-one. I like that quality time with the person because you get the real sense of them and meeting with them, and different things happen, that conversation comes up and you learn about their family, or you learn about different things personally about them. And I feel that relationship building is so incredibly important.
What does Tabitha do if Savvy were to just all of a sudden just be no more?
So I'm going to tell you.
Would you make a deal with the devil? I already know what your answer would be.
Yes.
Yes, she said yes. You heard it in your first. She said yes.
Yes, no.
What's up, everybody? Walter Hooper, host of Marketing Minds Meet, and we are here at the Not Co-working Space in the Madison Conference Room / Madison Podcast Room, I guess we'll call it as well. This is where we do almost 95% of our podcast recordings for Marketing Minds Meet and for clients of ours as well. So thank you to Kevin, the owner here at the Knot, for allowing us to do this here. And I got to tell you something. This episode, we do a lot of episodes, right? But this one in particular is an interesting one because this is going to feature someone that's also a member here at the Knot. And they're also in the same industry, but we do different things. See, the thing with marketing is it is a multifaceted genre. So what this individual specializes in is different from what I do, but we're able to feed off of each other and to look out for one another for referrals and for new business opportunities. And they are a local here in Detroit. That's right, in the D here in Michigan. And it is my pleasure and thrill to introduce the one, the only, Tabitha Mendez. What's up, Tabitha?
Hey. Nice to see you again, Walter.
Yeah, good to see you too. First off, how was your weekend?
My weekend was good. I enjoyed the Lions game. Great game. Pumped up time for the city. It's great to be a Detroiter right now with the Lions doing so well. Looking forward to the playoffs. And finally, people are talking about the Lions. We finally are heading to the Super Bowl. Like I'm putting it out there.
As stoked as I am, and I am I'm a realist. I'm a pragmatic Lions fan. This season has been truly astounding. I do think playoffs is going to be definitely in the cards for us. But the S word though, I don't know.
They're talking
we're halfway. We're halfway through the season, yeah. But they have had a stellar fighter season this year, and people have been talking about the Lions, but it's been in negative connotation. So to have us now be finally taken seriously and in serious conversations of higher aspirations, it's truly incredible. So I'm glad you got to enjoy that this weekend.
It's a beautiful thing. I love the synergy at the stadium.
Absolutely. So let's just dive right into it. So Tabitha Mendez is the owner of Savvy Advertising Solutions, and I'm going to have you tell the audience, what is Savvy Advertising Solutions? What are you special? What is Savvy Advertising Solutions?
All of the above, everything. So we are downtown Detroit's only full-service advertising agency, and we specialize in corporate apparel, embroidery, screen printing, promotional products, outdoor advertising, web design, web hosting, radio, television commercials, billboards, banners, and even aerial banners that fly over the stadium. So if you're down at Ford Field or Tiger Stadium, those are, you'll see the banners that fly by. Those are some of the things that we do. We pride ourselves on being, offering great products, quality products, service with a smile, great production schedules. The beauty is that we have interest in local embroidery and screen printing facilities, so that there's no bureaucracy. That sets us apart from our competition, which usually is like 4 to 6 week turnaround. We're at a 2-week turnaround, maybe 3 weeks during the holiday or peak season. So we've been very fortunate. We have a good clientele. Most of them have been with us since the inception of my business 25 years ago. In fact, we just celebrated our grand opening and 25th year celebration in our new Detroit office here at the Knot. And we're on the third floor. We've kind of just taken over the whole third floor, and it's been a beautiful thing. And so we're very fortunate, and we've picked up some new clients, but definitely have a lot of clients, who have been with us for 25 years. So very fortunate.
Well, first and foremost, congratulations once again.
Thank you.
I got to say, I remember when you were getting ready for that ribbon cutting and that grand opening, through the Grosse Pointe Chamber of Commerce, and it was a time, but you got through it, and everything turned out just
one employee threw their back out, another one was sick for 2 weeks, and then on our task list on Microsoft, the task just totally disappeared, and so I had to recreate and reinvent the wheel, and somehow, some way, through the grace of God and quantum physics, I pulled it off, and it was beautiful. And I was like, okay, I had tickets to go to a concert I put in Bay for Bash in the Bay, like VIP tickets, like crazy expensive, astronomical, and I'm like, you know what? I just need R&R. I just need to chill. So I went to the condo in Delray Beach and got a refresh and renew, and gave the tickets to one of my team members, and she was ecstatic. So it all worked out.
Well, that's amazing, and like I said, it was a wonderful turn. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it that day. We had a family obligation to attend to, but I was there in spirit for sure. So 25 years, that is a feat. That is a feat. So let's rewind the clock back to when this thing started. So what inspired you and motivated you to start Savvy Advertising Solutions? What's the history? So
prior to owning Savvy, I owned Media Connection with my partner, and in 2007 he and I split ways, and I opened Savvy Advertising Solutions. And ironically, how I got into advertising was another story in itself, because my background, I majored in elementary education, minored in psychology, and graduated from college and got into advertising. So I met with my partner, and he said, you'd be really good in advertising. And I said, oh yeah, I hate, loathe, despise advertising. Told that same thing to my marketing teacher rather, at Southwestern High School, where I attended, graduated in 91. And he also said, you'd be great in advertising. And I told Mr. Mahalik, yeah, I'm only here so that I can buy eggs, milk, and tortillas, because being in DECA, Distributive Education Clubs of America, afforded me the opportunity to get a half a day off school so I could work at Johnny's Nursery and make money and still be in school and get credit for school and still manage to graduate. So it was just ironic that the universe just kept pushing me in that direction. And it's crazy. Like, I can see myself doing a lot of things, but I can never see myself not doing advertising. I absolutely love what I do. And I say this all the time, it's cliche for me, but if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. And I feel so fortunate and so blessed. Every day my feet hit the ground running, and I can't believe I get paid to buy things I like with my clients' money to make their cash register ring. Like, is this real life? Like, I feel so blessed. And we have a great list of clientele, anywhere from DTE to the Detroit Zoo. We just did all the branding. If you saw the water tower, we did the branding for the Detroit Zoo, and launched a complete uniform revamp for Detroit Zoo. They also own Belle Isle Nature Center. There's been great things going on, and revamping Belle Isle Zoo so it's more family oriented and bringing families back to Belle Isle. And then also uniforming their security and getting them all hooked up as well. So that's been a really fun project, which Katie and I and our team has really enjoyed being a part of. And we had some interns for the summer that they got to jump in and get their hands wet and really do some really cool stuff, really creative, fun stuff. So so that's how I got into advertising. And it's crazy because I spent my whole life wanting to be a teacher, and then graduating and just falling in love with it. Was really natural. And so that's how I knew that this is where I need to be, that this is my passion.
Yeah. And, to go off of that even more so, the Detroit Zoo, I remember when you first told me about that, and I'm not gonna lie, I was like, yeah, okay, like, okay, like a lot of marketers we have a tendency to over exaggerate things at times, but then like when I saw like the apparel coming in and you meeting with the reps, I was like, oh, this is serious, like, and so to see the rebranding that they did, with the help of your company. I mean, it looks so sharp. Like that's got to be a feather in a cap moment for you. I mean, isn't it?
Absolutely. Well, the story is when I started in this industry in 1999, that was the last time they had a logo change. And I just remember looking at that tower, because at the time I had a foster daughter and we had taken her to the zoo, and I just remember this was before I even had my biological children, and I remember looking at that tower and thinking, how cool is that? Like, I first got in the industry and just thinking I would love to do the advertising for them. That's a dream. And then I thought, well, that's a pipe dream, but it's a pipe dream that can become a reality. Well, 25 years later, I'm doing it. So, I always say never give up and chase your dreams and just keep planting those seeds. And, eventually if you water those seeds, right, the grass grows where you water it. So we've been very fortunate to pick up a lot of clients over the years, and some very prominent, including the Detroit Parade Company and Channel 4, WDIV Local 4. So we've done some really fun, cool stuff. And then, of course, my clients in between that maybe they're not the notoriety type client, or maybe they're not, well known like across commercials and TVs, but just really good people that we've been able to work with over the last 25 years that we've formed relationships with that, I always say, and I teach this to my team, and I know you did an interview with Brooke and she mentioned this, and it just really warmed my heart that the things that I teach are sticking, that it's so important to build relationships. I don't want that one and done. I want a relationship. If you give, people always say relationship is 50-50. And they refer to love interest, but also with business. Like, it's important to give 100%. So if your client doesn't give 100%, you're still 100%, or vice versa, right? So it's important for relationship building. And that's how we've established, so many relationships over the years, and continue to have that return on investment, and people are reordering, and it's just turnkey. It's been a beautiful thing.
Well, you know what, to that I say cheers. This is a Liquid Death, by the way. It's the unofficial sponsor of Marketing Minds Meet. Please sponsor us.
They need to be giving you kickbacks for that, because that really is your thing. In fact, it was funny when I started in this business. I started here at the Knot, and I used to drink those. At first, I thought they were like beer or something.
I remember that.
Yeah, and then Katie started working, and she's like, oh, and she's telling her parents, well, yeah, she drinks this drink in the morning, and she was a little bit concerned. And then somehow it came up, and I'm like, Katie, you do realize that this is sparkling water, right? I know it looks scary, and it looks like, an alcoholic beverage. She's like, oh my God. I go back and tell your parents that it's not alcohol, that I'm not drinking alcohol at 8 a.m. in the morning. So,
oh, Katie, we love you. That's why the tagline is murder your thirst. And that's what you're doing in the morning. So I want to go touch on a little bit here on the relationships aspect, because you brought up something really key here. And so, doing what we do in the industry that we're in, I know we've talked about this, but I don't think a lot of people hear this being verbally spoken out loud. But for most businesses and most establishments, that marketing is typically, if not the number one aspect that gets cut in budgets first and foremost. Like I said, it's either number one or it's like in the top three. And we're living in a weird time right now. So, to be able to stay on the radar with companies and businesses, and especially for your clients, so when you form those relationships, how do you start those? Is it through networking? Is it through cold calling? Because like I visited your office many a time, and I see that whiteboard that you got, and there's just a slew of names that, I'm just like, wow. Like, and Katie is always, saying, yeah, these are our people that we got to hit up. So it's, how do you go about manifesting and starting those relationships? Is it, hey, I know this person, we have a mutual contact, or is it through cold calling? How do you start those relationships in the beginning? So
after 25 years, you can imagine my brain has become very creative. A lot of our stuff, it's a lot of it has been word of mouth and referrals. And I always say those are the best kinds, because that's a beautiful compliment, right? When you're referred, that means they love what you did and they're trusting you with their loved one or their friend or their colleague or whoever it is that they're referring you to. So those are the best kind. A lot of, I mean, there's such a wide variety of ways that we obtain clients. That's one of them. And that's been a beautiful thing. In the beginning, it was like pounding the pavement and, cold calling and knocking on doors, arming myself with business cards and catalogs. And I still do that to this day. It hasn't been the major way of me obtaining business because the referrals come in so much that it's like I'm only one person. I can only do so much. I'm referring these clients to my team and passing these out to my team to build their clientele. But I think it's so important that, especially after the pandemic, we've kind of lost that, with social media, we become kind of unsocial, I feel. And I think it's important to continue building those relationships, to be social, even though we've come, we're at the age of technology where it's easy, turnkey. We can, instant gratification, get on the computer and do a Teams meeting or a Zoom. I feel personally, for me, I like that one-on-one. I like that quality time with the person because you get the real sense of them and meeting with them, and different things happen, that conversation comes up and you learn about their family or you learn about different things personally about them. And I feel that relationship building is so incredibly important. And that's a big part of the sale. I feel like it's 50-50 of the sale. Like, they're going to work with you, right? Because not just because you need to sell them something, but because you've earned their business and you appreciate who they are and you learn and get to know them. So I feel like a lot of that comes with referrals, but also there's that wonderful thing that happens where the universe just throws it on my lap. I'm out going for a power walk and I see a landscape company and he says hello, or she's, and we're just communicating, and all of a sudden they're like, what do you do? And the universe just drops it on my lap. Or maybe I'm at the dentist and somehow that comes up. So a lot of it's just communication and building relations and networking. Also I do the networking with the Grosse Pointe Chamber and get a lot of leads through there. And also here at the Knot, we're on the 3rd floor. We have dedicated office space upstairs we lease. But even being down here and networking with some of the other Knot members has been very valuable as well. Like you mentioned, the referral. So we're referring each other because we understand each other's business, right? And so we've learned to, nurture these relationships and trust one another. So that's been a good thing as well. But honestly, I'll never stop pounding the pavement and cold calling. Even Katie, I literally will be at the trade show, and because we belong to the Advertising Specialty Institute, I'll be at the trade show and I'm like, oh my God, this is the coolest product ever. And I say, who can we sell this to? Because I believe and love this product so much. So a lot of times we find the product before we find the client, and then all of a sudden we're like, okay, well, let's go after this company or that company, or, this would be a great product for this industry, the aerospace industry. And so all of a sudden, we're obtaining new clients and new industry clients. And a lot of my competitors are like, oh, we only want to be automotive, or we only want to be aerospace or health and wellness. But like, I love and thrive off learning and educating. I always say, if I'm not inspiring, educating, entertaining you, and you're not doing the same for me, this isn't going to work. And so I feel like there's so many plethoras of ways to gain business. And you just never stop. Even after 25 years, I'm still, being creative and learning new ways to attract clients and also to maintain them, right? That's the most important thing.
Yeah. And not only that, but so this is where, approaches and tactics are very different, right? So I hate cold calling with a passion. You will never catch me doing it. I always ask myself, do I want someone who I don't know to I look at it as an intrusion, like intrude on my daily, tasks and what have you. Like, I don't know you from Adam. So why am I going to give you the time? And then it's just that whole, to me, it just seems it seems a little bit desperate at times. I guess maybe it's an art, right? To an extent, but I fucking hate cold calling with a passion. I hate it.
I hope I'm never calling on anybody like you then. I don't feel like in 25 years, I've done a lot of cold calling. And whenever I hire someone, it is a mandatory part of our training. I will take a salesperson and we will go again, armed with catalogs and business cards, and go cold calling, because those, again, I feel like those are those universal energy coming at you, and like where we choose to go, and it's the unknown. And a lot of times, especially post-pandemic, I find that people are actually welcoming, and whether they want advertising at that particular moment or not, they still are very welcoming because it breaks up the monotony of their day. And also, we come in like the sunshine. You know what I mean? It's like I always tell Katie, it's been cloudy this week, but I said we got to bring the sunshine from the inside. Then it's sunny on the inside, and so I feel that we have such a dynamic team. I love the people who work for us. They're so positive and energetic and exciting. We've created such a good work culture that people love being here. People love what we do. And I feel like my attitude about it is very infectious, and vice versa. Like even if I have a bad day, I'm feeding off of them. And I just feel like when we're client calling and cold calling rather, I feel like, we're bringing in the sunshine and we're bringing up the monotony of their day. And I just feel like it's more welcoming than it's not. There are those few people who are like, oh, we don't do advertising. I'm like, really? Do you do business cards? Do you do custom checks? Do you do Post-it notes? Because that's advertising. People don't realize sometimes what advertising is. And back to what you said, you're in advertising marketing, but you do video production, right? I do advertising promotional products. I do, we also do services and marketing, demographic research. But I feel like so many people don't really understand marketing. And I don't know why, but it seems like when you say advertising or marketing, most people think of those newspapers that come to your house, and that's a thing. So I've always made sure to precisely say exactly what it is we do. It's not just, oh, we're the t-shirt girl, we're going to sell you t-shirts, kind of like my introduction when I said everything that we did. And I feel like once you do that, one of those things will hit with people. And also I value ourselves. It's not, I feel like they need us as much as we need them. And I feel like they see the value we bring to them. So that's why I'm not intimidated of cold calling. In the beginning, of course, 25 years ago, I was a young stay-at-home mom. I was so nervous, but where does the magic happen? Outside your comfort zone, right? And because I see the value that it brings back, the return on investment that it brings back, I realize that it's so imperative that we do this cold calling, because you have to have multiple streams of ways to gain clients. If you're just going to count on the referral only, it's not going to happen. You're not going to grow your business the way you want to grow. It's so important to have multiple streams, whatever it is. Like I know you being a member of the Grosse Pointe Chamber, you're involved with the St. Clair Shores, the cruise. And so there's different ways that you network, and it's so important to have those multiple streams. So if one dies out, there's always something else. And we learn things die out, especially post-pandemic. Look what happened, right? And again, I feel like when we're calling on these clients, more times than none, they're happy to see us. And there are those few that are just like, yeah, I don't have time today, I'm busy. But we're leaving our business cards, we're leaving catalogs. And I'm going to tell you, 9 times out of 10, they'll call us, maybe not now, maybe not a month, but 6 months from now. Because once we meet with them, we're capturing their business card, we're emailing them, we're putting them on our email blast. So we're staying in touch. We're nurturing, again, back to nurturing that relationship. We're not in it just to make a deal. We want to build relationships because we love what we do, and we know that we can make their cash register ring. We know that we can make them happy.
Yeah. Yes, all very valid points. I see where you're coming from. I mean, like I said, it's not wrong. I think it's just what you prefer.
Industry standard, right?
And that's just not who I am. 10 out of 10 times, I would rather be in a networking scenario where either I'm in a group or I'm at an event, because right then and there, like, you see who I am. We get that opportunity to give a 60-second ask or elevator pitch and really, really hone in on what we do. And, to me, that's so much more, has much more of an impact, because you get to now you can see like my enthusiasm, my excitement for what I do. You can see the passion. You can see right then and there, like this is what I do. And
everybody's there for that, right?
Exactly. And not only that, but then you will get someone that maybe they might not necessarily they themselves need your services, but they'll say, I have someone that I know that needs to really look into putting in more of an effort into their marketing with, whether it's apparel or business cards, or for me, it's, for videography, for podcasting, for SEO, things of that nature. Because now it's like, we're right there. You got a chance to hear me. You saw me. To me, it's just a much more personal thing. And right off the bat, I'm sure you do this as well. I mean, you've been doing this for 25 years, but I always let the person that I meet with, especially for one-on-one, I always let them talk first. I always just ask about who they are, what inspired them to do what they do, even talk a little personal things like, oh, what are some of your hobbies or whatever, because that way it's showing that, hey, like, I'm genuinely interested, and obviously not just for your business, but I'm interested in you as a person. And I'll never forget, and I would love to see your reaction to this. So there was someone that I was colleagues with, and we were in the same industry, and they've been doing it longer than I have, but they did some of the same things. They also did some different things too. And we both happened to have the same client. And so I would see this client on a monthly basis, get to know them, their family, or even just hear stories about their family. And, I would, gather content for them and put it on their social media. And I remember we were talking because I was kind of looking for, just like a connection, like, hey, how can we help each other? But also too, like, hey, like you've been in the game longer than I have. Like, maybe I can get some words of wisdom. And I'll never forget, they made the comment to me. They said, you take such it seems like you really take the time to get to know people, and they're just like, I don't know, it just seems like a waste of time. Like, I just, if I were, I'll tell you this, like, if I were in the grocery store and the owners were standing next to me, I wouldn't know who they were. And to me, that just really, really left a bad taste in my mouth. And it's just, but there are companies that are like that. And I guess that's the thing. It's like, I never want to be that. To me, that's just it's such a turn off. And to me, that's an instant red flag. That's, in the words of Randy Jackson, that's going to be a no for me, dog.
For sure.
So it's just, the relationships, to tie it all together, it's so important. And, I feel like if we get to know the individual, the owner, as not just the business owner, but as a person, I feel like that just speaks volumes. And I've seen you, talk to your clients, and, you talk about stuff with them, and it's like, that's how you do it.
Absolutely. I always say I can hang out with the homeless. I can hang out with the aristocrats. I'm the same person, no matter who I'm hanging out with. And I feel like it's important. You just, in that age-old thing, you never know who you're sitting to. Like, you're on an airplane, right? And you never know who you're sitting with. You never judge a book by its cover. And I don't know, me growing up in Southwest Detroit, even being homeless, living on the streets when I was younger, I realized that we all have a purpose and we all have value, no matter how little or how great of value we can add to someone's life, not just financially, but just verbally, emotionally. I feel like it's important. Listen, we're all on this planet. We're stuck together, right? I always say, I'm great, I'm awesome, I'm ostentatiously divine. But if I were any better than you or anyone else, I'd have my own planet. Guess what? We're stuck here together. So, we're meant for a greater purpose to help one another. I love sharing my wealth of education and experience, and I love an opportunity to help other people. Like, I thrive on it. I enjoy it. I love, the benefits that it reaps, even teaching and training the young people. Even our interns who went back to college, I feel like they took so much value, not just from me, but from our entire team, And I don't know, it's important. That's a terrible way to think, the way this person thought. And I feel like, if you're not authentic, it's going to show in your business and reflect on your business and your revenue and what you do. So
yeah, and I will say I would say I'm not going to name names or drop company names, but I did hear through the grapevine, through other mutual people that we knew and that I did work for, like, they did say that their company was not necessarily the most ethical.
Yeah.
So this is Marketing Minds Meet, and we are two marketers that have minds, and we're meeting right now. So I want to know, kind of get some insight on, we're in the digital realm right now. We are in the height of the digital era that is digital marketing. And I'm noticing through your campaigns online that, you're starting to post more content, and it's really sharp and what have you. So I guess my next point in question here is, where have you seen in your marketing campaign for Savvy Advertising Solutions, where have you seen the biggest successes? Has it been through social media posting? Has it been through email blasts? Has it been through landing pages? Has it been through snail mail, paper marketing, paper trail? And where have you seen where there needs to be improvements made? So successes and the let's go back to the drawing board and make some improvements.
So again, that's one of those all of the above. When you're in advertising, you have to throw a bunch of things on the wall and eventually something sticks. And it's important to know, and it's different for every industry, right? For us, the social media, whether people are responding or not, or liking or reposting, I still feel, I feel like so many industries or businesses, they get burned out and they're like, well, I'm not really getting any hits, but I still feel it's so important to be out there and have a web presence, because we are the information highway and we're the instant gratification. And, as soon as we learn about a business or someone, immediately we go to social media or we go to Google and we're, Googling people or looking up on social media and looking up, looking at their pictures, their videos, right? And so I feel like it's so important to, whether you're getting the likes or the reshares, to continue with social media and having that web presence. It's the first thing I do, and it's the first thing everyone does. So I don't know why people really get burned out doing that, because it's what we do. So why wouldn't we give that to our clients or our vendors or whoever it is, even employees that we're trying to market, so that they can see. Most of the employees that we hire, first thing I ask them is, what do you know about Savvy Advertising Solutions? Well, I was on your website, I was on your social media. So whether or not, again, they're liking or sharing, they're on there looking at it. So that's definitely a great avenue that I don't feel like is going to die out anytime soon. Also, email blast. We get a lot of response with email blasts. Again, we may not get an email back from a client, but when I meet with them, they're like, oh, I saw your email regarding, the back to school program. And we saw you doing the splits when you were a cheerleader at Southwestern High School, the nostalgic picture. How cool is that? And so it creates a conversation, and I feel like it creates a good vibe and something, to be on the level. And then they're like talking about their school. I played football, or I feel like they're great conversation pieces, great conversation starters. And then also back to snail mail. Listen, that is something that has died out other than election campaign material, because we all know we got like 7 to 10 pieces a day, even after the election. Waste of money. I'm in the business, so I'm just going to be honest. But we just did a mail drop for our client, Me Nails, and they're a local nail salon. They have 2 locations in Grosse Pointe, one on Kirchville, one on Mac, and also in St. Clair Shores. We did a 34,000 mail drop for them, and to reach 34,000 people, and your return on investment is like 2 to 3%. That's a wide market to gain that kind of new clients. But because social media and email blasts and all the digital age took over, people forget about that. But guess what? Again, aside from the election, how many postcards do you get in the mail these days? Not very many. So that's an opportunity to shine and to showcase your brand. And by offering a coupon, that's a call to action, where the coupon's brought in, I get my 10% off or my free chrome or whatever it is you're offering, for your nails or whatever industry it may be. Then that's how you can see your return on investment, that all these postcards are being returned. So this program is working. So again, depending on the industry, it really depends. I had a client come to me years ago, and he wanted to do a billboard. And I said, you're in the asbestos industry. You're not appealing to the everyday Joe Blow that's going to drive by the sign. Let's do a direct mail campaign. Different industries. And that's why it's so important to meet with a marketing or advertising specialist, so they can better spend your money, right? Because sometimes our clients, sometimes the ego takes over, or sometimes they're limited to what they know, right? I'm like, well, what do you do for a living? You sell cars? Continue doing that. You're great at it. Let me do your advertising and marketing, because this is my forte. This is what I've been doing for 25 years.
Yes. And there are specialties that one has to be able to be experts in and have vast knowledge. I'm noticing, especially too right now, so for those of you that don't know, I am from the millennial generation, but I'm noticing now that, case in point, your interns that you just had here over the summer, they are the Gen Z demographic. And Gen Z demographic is very different than even from my generation. And I'm finding that, with the rise, it can be a blessing and a curse at the same time. I feel like, and I'm noticing that because we, especially in our industry, we have to look ahead 10 to 15 years. And the demographics, like who are we catering to right now? And not only right now, but how are we going to be able to cater to a generation such as the Gen Zers and even my generation? The people my age, they're knee deep in the workforce right now. So, but they also grew up with technology, and so a lot of them, they're able to do it themselves. And Gen Z, forget about it. Like everything they do is on their own. So how does a company like Savvy, how can they break that barrier and convince and try to ease the mind of my generation and Gen Z of, hey, this is important. Like, I know you can do it yourself, but how are you going to be able to convince them when they pretty much from the age of 5, they've had a screen in front of them? Like, how are you going to overcome that speed bump? And it's a pretty big speed bump.
Yeah, there's definitely a difference, and I'm just laughing just thinking about it. So, we were very fortunate to hire like the best interns, and we had a great dynamic, and just a good quality caliber of young people. And as I'm out there in the Gen Z, sometimes I'm like, oh, but I don't know. The universe brings me the right people, and we had a really good crew. But what I love about them is the fact that they are very computer oriented. And it's kind of like that thing where it's like, the great thing about being computer oriented is that that's the first place they go. The bad thing about being computer oriented is that's the first place they go, right? So it's a blessing and a curse. But ultimately, that's the way that the world is moving. So we need to catch up with it, right? We, as a millennial, as a Gen X for me. But what I love is the beauty of, again, the coming together of the minds. I bring the old school, right? The research, whether you call it research and development or call it rip off and duplicate, R&D is so important. And, right away I want to go and research something. Like even just yesterday, Lauren, our new advertising assistant, I love her to death. She's great. And she, again, brings a whole new dynamic to the team, and we all just have a great energy together. It's beautiful. And I'm like, well, call Microsoft and find out what this problem is. And, and right away she's like, oh, she's on Google and she's already got the answer. And I'm like, okay, all right. And it's like, of course I know that we can do that, but just being in the habitual of research and development and calling the professional. But I love that she brings me into this new age, right? And then I also share with her. And so, hey, if the internet was down, this is another way to do this, right? And I love the coming together of the minds and the generations, because I feel like, again, we both bring value and balance each other out, right? Kind of like when I went shopping in the Cayman Islands and the girl's like, oh, we can't run your credit card, the machine's down. I go, do you have a pencil? I took a piece of paper and I rubbed over the numbers with the pencil, and it came up on the piece of paper, and she's like, oh my God, that's so smart. And I'm like, yeah, genius, right? A piece of paper and a pencil, right? But she's like, well, I can't ring up your order because I don't have a credit card machine. It's down today. And I'm like, listen, I'm here on a cruise. I'm walking away with this merchandise. Run my card later when the machines are up. And she's like, I don't think you can do that. I go, bye, have a nice day. And I walked out.
God, that's way too trusting. That's way too trusting. Nope. I'd be thinking, oh my God, this girl's gonna like rack up so much debt on my card.
So
like,
again, it's
nope,
just the value that we both bring, and it's like technology is great, but like Paula Tutman says, as long as it works,
Yeah. I mean, it's the catch-22, right? Like, that's how it is.
Yeah.
And so. Yeah, I find it's, especially in what I do, there's so many people that, now they have smartphones, so I think being able to, again, it's showcase, okay, because all of what we do is visual, from business cards to video to apparel, like it's all visual. So if you show them the product. And I found that when I show people, what I can do, and especially in this medium, most people, they can handle a smartphone, but 8.5 times out of 10, I'm not going to say 9 times out of 10, but 8.5 times out of 10, if I hand someone my camera that's recording right now, That's an all manual camera. Do you know how to use that? Because there's no automatic setting on there. So do you know how to get the aperture? Do you know how to get the shutter speed working? Do you know what color grading needs to be set on there? Oh, you don't? Oh, well, I do.
Yeah.
And funny, I have the software that can edit this. So I think when people really stop to think about it and really kind of go, oh, okay, yeah, that's why. And it's just, sometimes you just got to just gently remind them that, hey, like, this is what I do. Like, this is my field of expertise. So, I'm going to help you and I'm going to get you looking really sharp online. So there is that. And much like what you do, like, people can make their own apparel, but it's probably not going to be nearly as precise.
Yeah, not on a Cricut machine.
No,
and
no.
It's going to come off in the dryer.
Yeah. So again, it's just knowing what your field is, and that's going to segue right into my next point here is, do you feel what's more valuable, a marketing company that is the jack of all trades but master of none, or a marketing company that specializes in specific niche things that they're really paying attention to the craftsmanship?
So for me, there are two types of people. There's a generalist and there's a specialist, right? The specialist obviously has a one track mind, one way of thinking. And I feel as a generalist, for me, I have, attended the University of Tabitha, and I encourage my team to attend the University of Tabitha. And they may not choose, my team may not choose to be in all aspects of it, but for me, I am a generalist, but I'm a specialist within each of those categories. So they're like subcategories. And whatever I do it well, and I research and I make sure that I'm getting the best of the best. And so for me, for us I'm already there. I'm already meeting with my client. I'm already selling him, apparel, whatever it is. Like, I can be a one-stop shop for my clients. And they love that about me. They no longer have to meet with 5 different people, right? While I'm there, I can say, hey, do you need some video production, right? Do you need a web design? Do you need shirts? Whatever it is, promo products. So I'm a one-stop shop, and I feel like my clients see the value in that because it's time saving and they're not meeting with 5 different people. But also, I've been doing this for 25 years, so we're able to streamline everything, right? So if I'm already doing, for instance, the shirts, I know and understand their brand standards, their PMS Pantone colors, right? I'm being within industry standards. And so I can streamline that for everything that we do, and then their brand is consistent. Mm-hmm. So if you're meeting with several different people, and if people aren't as stringent as we are, like, we follow strictly the guidelines. I have clients just yesterday sent me images that were PNG, and I go, nope, we're not printing this. Go back, please, and get me high quality JPEG, at least 300 DPI or higher. When you see a marketing piece come in the mail, sometimes you see it's pixelated or blurry. You'll never see that from Savvy. I'm not going to have somebody look at it and say, oh, Savvy did that? That's junk, right? Like, our name stands behind it. And so we pride ourselves on quality and making sure that their brand is seamless. When you see the Home Depot logo, it's not light orange or dark orange. It's the same orange no matter where you see it, whether it's on a shirt, because we're staying within the brand standards and the PMS guide, the guide to ensure. So I feel like having a one-stop shop is the way to go, because they're going to make sure to keep the integrity of your brand.
Yeah, one-stop shop, and it sounds like one-stop shop, but also, this shop specializes in this category. Or like for me, it's like I specialize in videography, video production, podcasting. Like, that's my wheelhouse. And I also think a perfect example too is, like, I used to do daily social media, so posting daily content. And PSA to all marketers that are starting out in this in that specific realm and field, I wish you all the best, and I wish that for your sanity to stay intact, because it is a wild, fierce game out there, and I am so glad I have no part in it anymore. That is a field that I just can't deal with, and I think it's through the trial and error, knowing that that's not So much back to your point.
Absolutely.
The passion.
It's
the
not
passion.
for everyone. You do have to have that passion, right?
The
We have that passion, innovation, perseverance. That's what I call PIP, P-I-P, passion, innovation, perseverance. And loving what I do and also being in charge of my client's brand. I love that because I love that I can ensure that, again, no matter where you see that logo, it's not stretched out, it's scaled to size. Like that is so important. And a lot of people don't know that, in different industries. Maybe their forte is printing, but maybe not being creative or not dealing with Pantone or PMS or, colors or brand standards, right? So it's so important. And hey, if that's your specialty, I don't knock anybody that has a specialty. Listen, if I need my tire change, I want the tire change guy to do it, right? I don't want him to be doing tires and windows and cars and roofs and, right? So, but again, with us, what we do, everything falls under branding, right? It's kind of why I got in this industry. I'm graduated from college. I'm like, God, I love teaching. But am I going to be able to raise 3 children on a teaching salary? No, not as a single parent, right? Maybe with a co-working or a co-income, but not as a single parent. So that as I'm looking around, I'm like, everybody does advertising. Like you got your hat on, right? Everybody, no matter where you go, everybody does advertising. And dare I say, people don't like this, but what's the biggest brand in history?
The biggest brand in history.
The biggest brand in history that is known on every single continent. You can't go on a continent without this brand being known. Everybody says Coca-Cola.
Yeah, I was going to say it's Coca-Cola. What?
Jesus Christ. How many times you see somebody with a cross, a Bible? Like everybody has that brand, right? And I know we're not supposed to say this, but it's the biggest brand in history. It's the brand that carried out through decades and years and thousands of years, right? The brand has not lost us. Brands come and go, right? Crush was great in the 80s. Hold My Crush, the drink, right? And it's still there, but it's not as prominent. What's the brand that hasn't been phased out? Everybody knows. It was a part of the election. Everybody was, we didn't set up our country on the foundation of Jesus. Yeah, we kind of did. Our money says in God we trust. It's the biggest brand. It's even on our money, like it or not.
Well, we're not going to go down that rabbit hole today because that's not the kind of show that we are.
We'll have to call Cindy for that one.
Yeah, subscribe to our Patreon if you want to know the truth. But so let's go into the dark side.
Here we go.
Of our industry. So, and just of the program in general. So, first dark side question I have for you, Tabitha Mendez, is tell me something about what you do that you don't like. Because you talk a lot about, I love this, I have passion, but tell me something about what you do that you do not like and why.
Honestly, I don't know. Let me think about this. I wish I had this question prepared because I don't know. Again, Walter, I know you want to answer, but I do love what I do and I really can't make up any.
No job is perfect.
Okay.
We know
all
that.
Right. Here's what I don't like. All right. I'm thinking. What I don't like is not being able to find employees far and wide as I used to. Post-pandemic, things have really changed in the employment realm. And I met with one of my, and I don't know if we discussed this before, but I met with one of my clients. And I'm like, gosh, it's so hard to find employees. And it's just different than it used to be. Before it was like, we as employers now are seeking out people and having a hard time finding them. It used to be the reverse. It used to be employees so badly wanted a job and they couldn't find a job and they're wishing and hoping. And, I would get resumes by the dozens and, only call so many people. And then I had people actually calling me, hey, I really want this job. And those are the people that I like, right? Because that was me. Growing up, every job I ever applied for, I was hired because I was diligent. I was persistent. I kept calling and bothering them and even saying, hey, I'm going to keep bothering you until you tell me to go away. Mm-hmm. So I feel like that dynamic has changed in our industry. So that's one of the things I don't like about my job, but I think it would be no matter what job I had, right? Because right now it's just the changing of the times. For instance, we would receive 100 resumes now, and out of 100, 20 would call us back. And we actually had one person show up. We hired them and show up for an interview and then never showed up for the job. Monday morning ghosted us. And I was like, wow, that's really wild. I mean, and I always feel like it's okay if you don't want the job. Thing. Yeah, call and let us know. Like, email us and say, hey, this isn't going to work out for me. I don't like it. But just to ghost us, it was the most bizarre thing ever.
Some people just suck.
Yeah. People are strange sometimes. But I feel like that is the most challenging thing that we deal with. But I've learned, this has forced me to learn to not be, I'm not that I've ever been desperate, but to keep me within perspective, not to become desperate, to make sure I'm hiring the right person, right? Like, I had a candidate who I interviewed and I was like, well, I think she's okay. I think she might work. And my team looked at me, they go, you always tell us, like, don't force it. Why are you trying to force this? I'm like, you know what? You're absolutely right. We're not going to hire this person. And then this person sent us a 2-page email. And I was like, woo, glad we didn't hire that person. They were so upset and distraught that we didn't hire them. I'm like, ooh, that wouldn't have worked out. So that would be my biggest challenge right now. But in advertising, we get to pick and choose our clients. So, like, there's nothing to hate about our industry.
Right. And like I said, no job is perfect, and that's why we asked that. And so thank you for giving the real answer, because that's what we seek. We seek the truth here. So
well, speaking of the truth, you know why this is happening. I met with my client Intertron, which is an IT company. And I said, Joe, what's going on? He's like, it's crazy. He goes, listen, I literally called my Indeed rep and said, we got to meet. He said, I spent thousands of dollars and I'm not getting that return on investment to hire people. And she said, well, what's happening is post-pandemic, these people, they get unemployment for 26 weeks. Like when I was a kid, you and I were a kid. Okay, after 26 weeks, get your ass back to work. Now it's a free-for-all. They're filing unemployment, and they the government isn't enforcing the end of employment. They're continuing to stay on unemployment and collect, and they're doing DoorDash and Uber Eats and all these other Shipt and all this other stuff on the side to make the extra money. And so they're basically sitting around, I don't know, eating bonbons, smoking marijuana. I'm not really sure. But all I know is the industry has changed, and there's a huge unemployment rate, but I feel like the government has kind of allowed it because they haven't put those restrictions on, hey, get your ass back to work. 26 weeks is up. We're ending your unemployment. So things have changed. Things have really changed.
Yes, change is inevitable.
Yeah, but
next dark side question I have for you. Normally I ask for the listeners and the viewers. Normally I will ask would you make a deal with the devil? I already know what your answer would be.
Yes.
Yes, she said yes. You
no,
heard it in your mouth. She said yes.
Yes, you know. Yes, you know. Yes, you know the answer because you know what my favorite brand is, Jesus Christ. So yeah. No.
But okay, so the one of the newer questions.
Okay, let's go.
Let's say in a sudden cruel twist of fate, Savvy Advertising Solutions is no longer to operate. Does Tabitha Mendez have a secondary plan, or what does Tabitha do if Savvy were to just all of a sudden just be no more?
So I'm going to tell you, I have been through 3 recessions, and even though analysts do not want to admit that we're in a recession, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to realize that we are definitely in a recession. I mean, go to Kroger and buy 2 bags of groceries, walk out with $100 later and still not be able to make more than a meal or two. And so honestly, I don't feel like I would ever give up on Savvy. Like, I love what I do. And why would I give up on something I love? It's kind of like a marriage or a relationship. If you love it, why would you give up on it? So with that said, having been through 3 recessions, 2008, 2011, and 2024, which had actually started in 2020 with the pandemic, I have fought through hardship. I mean, as a business owner, like, there's a reason everybody doesn't own a business, right, Walter? Because they don't, what it takes to sustain your business and continue growing and continue nurturing the clients that you have and continue to get new clients. It's so important to get net new and to continue growing, right? In case one of your industry clients, like for 2008, the auto industry took a hit, right? In 2011, again, the auto industry. And so I've learned to reinvent myself and not keep all my eggs in one basket. And then this time, everyone was hit. But more so, the business restaurants and the professional people were hit the hardest, in my opinion, because they were no longer in office. There was a lot of us that can do things from home and work from home, right? But a lot of businesses, restaurants, they couldn't serve people food from home. They had to shift and reinvent and pivot and start, selling food via DoorDash. And business professionals like lawyers and those people took a hard hit. They can't lawyer from, an office. So I feel like for us, what we do, no matter what happens, I feel like I'm always going to get past it. And I'm always going to fight because I love what I do and I love Savvy and I believe in myself, and I'm always going to bet on Tabitha. I'm always going to bet on Savvy Advertising Solutions. So yes, are there things that I would like to do in my life? There's so many different, I would love, we talked before about, me running for mayor of Detroit. Like that is a passion of mine. That is a future passion of mine. There's other things, I'm an author and I love motivational speaking. There's other things I would like to do in addition to Savvy. But again, I don't see myself never not doing advertising. So I'll fight like the Beastie Boys.
You would start all over again from the ground up.
From the ground up.
Okay.
I've been through 3 recessions. Yeah. You bet your sweet ass. I have suffered during those recessions. I've had to take loans and loan my company money and do whatever it takes to get to the next level. And now I look back and I encourage all business owners, if you have a passion and it is the love that you enjoy doing and getting up every day, then fight for it. Don't give up on it. Even when it's hard, even when it's challenging, even when whether it's financial or lack of finding employees or whatever it is, if you love it, don't give up on it.
Okay, so yeah, you heard it here. She would start from the ground up. Any more
dark questions?
Actually, no. No,
I don't think he's liking my answer.
No. There is no wrong answer. That's the thing. That's the beauty of this show and in the questions that we ask. There is no wrong answer. I might not necessarily agree because that's happened in the past, but make no mistake, there is no wrong answer. Yeah. But okay, with that being said, we have made it through the dark side, so congratulations.
Thank you.
So we're going to go into the last part of the show, and we're going to do a live stream on our YouTube channel. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another live stream edition of Marketing Minds Meet, and we are here at the Not Co-working Space in the Madison Conference Room / Madison Podcast Room as well. This is where we record and film most 95% of our episodes are here at the Not. So thank you to Kevin and the Not Co-working Space for allowing us to do this. And today I have with me a fellow member here at the Not. They are also in the advertising / marketing field. And this is an individual that has for 25 years, yes, 25 years, they have made a name for themselves in the marketing realm. And I want to introduce to my audience here for the live stream, the one, the only Tabitha Mendez, owner of Savvy Advertising Solutions. What's going on, Tabitha?
What's up, Walter?
So we just got out of the dark side portion, and for those that know that portion of the show, we asked a brand new question, so stay tuned for that. But we're now into the fun side, the light side, because I'm a Star Wars geek and nerd and fan, whatever you want to call me, and so there's the dark side and the light. So now we're going to go into the light, and so the first light side question I have for you, Tabitha, first and foremost, why don't you tell everyone what is Savvy Advertising Solutions? What is that all about?
So for the last 25 years, I own Savvy Advertising Solutions, full service advertising agency. Before that, I owned Media Connection with my partner, parted ways in 2007. We specialize in corporate apparel, embroidery, screen printing, promotional products. We do outdoor advertising, web design, web hosting, radio, television commercials, billboards, banners, and even aerial banners that fly over stadiums and events. And we pride ourselves on quality products, service with a smile, and excellent production schedules. And we also have interest in embroidery and screen printing facilities here local. So there's no bureaucracy. We have clients that call us up and say, hey, we forgot to order t-shirts. When do you need them? Tomorrow. Yeah, we can make that happen. Do we like to jump through hoops every day? No, but the beauty is we can make that happen. and having interest in our own facilities here locally. A lot of my competitors are 4 to 6 weeks, so we've been very fortunate to have clients that have been with us since the inception of our business for the last 25 years, and we're very grateful for our clients. They've been putting food on our table for 25 years, and it's a beautiful thing. We're very grateful to have just celebrated our 25th year anniversary and grand opening for our ribbon cutting here in Grosse Pointe. We also have an office downtown Detroit, so we are downtown Detroit's only full-service advertising agency, so it makes us unique. We're a one-stop shop for our clients, and gives us the ability to streamline their processes, their branding, and make sure everything is consistent.
Well, perfect. See, there you go. So that is Savvy Advertising in a nutshell, but you will get to hear the full story and even more when this episode airs and debuts. But so first light side question I have for you, because I hear your wonderful, wonderful assistant Katie is starting to make lunch, so I don't want to keep us too long here. When Tabitha Mendez is not being the boss that she is, running Savvy Advertising Solutions and making things happen professionally, what does Tabitha enjoy doing in her downtime? What are your favorite hobbies and activities?
My favorite hobbies and activities would be flying airplanes, single engines, boating, and traveling and scuba diving. Those are some of my passions. Also gardening. I love gardening. And I have a small farm, Mendez Farms, where I have 7 chickens right now. I usually keep 12, but because I was traveling so much in the spring, I wasn't able to get spring chickens. But I normally keep 12 chickens, and I also have herb garden, vegetable garden, and I have a small mini orchard now of apples and plums and grapes and cherries. And so I love to donate all of my food to less fortunate. Nothing is sold, everything is given away. And I live in East English Village, Morningside area, so there's a big need. And also love to donate to the local churches. And I recently just got into beekeeping because honey is so wonderful for life sustainability.
Oh, honey is delicious. I especially love adding it to my pork chop marinade, but that's a story for another time. I know we also love to cook as well, but we'll again, that's maybe for a follow-up episode. All right. So second light side question I have for you: you're into music,
yes,
right? Okay,
love music.
Okay. So what I have here,
I play the finger cymbals. I'm a belly dancer.
Oh, okay.
You didn't know that, Walter? Did you?
You know, I feel like you told me something about that a while ago.
I play the finger cymbals.
Okay. So this next light side question I have for you: what is a band or an artist that you fell in love with on the first listen?
On the first listen, I'm going to say Train. I used to think, God, I could marry that guy, or whoever wrote the lyrics for this guy. I just feel I connect with the words of almost every song. It's a rarity where you like every single song, right? It's like you might like a few from each album, but I don't know. Every song I listen to of Train, I just feel like I connect and resonate with. So that's definitely one of my favorite bands. I also connect with the Beatles because my mind is so out there and so eccentric. So, Toe Jam Football sounds good to me. So I have lots of artists, and my genre of music is all over the board. Like literally, if you tell me to pull up Mediterranean or Russian or it's literally all over the board. It's like classic and country, just everything. I have a mix of music. Okay. I love music. Music moves me.
Yeah. Well, again, we'll get into that into the sequel episode, but last light side question. Well, it's kind of light, but somewhat dark, but it's still fun. Tell me, what is a TV show that is highly popular but you do not like?
Probably all of them. When I think of TV, I remember your grandma used to say, "Oh, I'm going to watch my program." I don't want to be programmed. I'm not a TV person. I don't know. I'd rather research or educate or learn or grow or nurture or just do self-motivation. So I'm going to say almost all of them. If I'm going to watch something on TV, it's probably going to be Law and Order or Naked and Afraid. In fact, I would love to audition for Naked and Afraid. That's my goal.
Okay.
Have you ever watched it?
Yeah.
It's survival skill kind of stuff, and I feel like I would do well in it. I really do. I feel like I have the mindset, right? If I can accomplish and get through what I was going through as a kid, I feel like I can get through anything.
Okay, well, you heard it here first.
I don't know if they're taking 51-year-olds, but you never know.
Well, Tabitha, we're going to conclude this here in just a moment. But before we conclude, I feel like this is one of the most important questions and points I want to bring up. How can the people that are looking to have apparel, business cards, if they're looking for that next level up and solution in their marketing campaign, how can people find Savvy Advertising Solutions? Do you have a phone number, website, email? So now is the time to plug all the things. How can people reach out to Savvy Advertising
you know, Walter,
Solutions?
like I always say, good, bad, or indifferent, I'm one of the most Googleable, not unpopular, but unfamous people ever here in Metro Detroit. So www.savvyadvertising.com. Our phone number is 313-886-1100. I'm on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Instagram. I'm on probably every social media ever known to mankind. I even have a MySpace somewhere out there drifting.
Okay.
You haven't heard that word in a while, right?
That's mine. That's my Jen. That's my time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So we both know Tom.
Yeah. Right. He was our friend. Yeah.
Yeah. If you didn't have anybody else, Tom was your friend.
Yeah.
Well, Tabitha, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day today. I know you have a very, very eventful, productive schedule. You're always go, but I appreciate you taking the time and sitting down and chatting with me. We did do a podcast for the Knots. It was the Knotcast, which you can find on the Knots YouTube channel. But we didn't do one for this program, and so I'm glad we were able to finally put this in the calendar and chat and just kind of take a break from, the everyday daily work
Rat race,
life.
yeah.
So, yeah. But once again, thank you so much. Once again, Tabitha. And thank you to those that have viewed and watched this, whether you were watching live or you're watching after the fact. I truly appreciate you. And please do not forget, if you haven't done so already, like our videos, like our content, subscribe to our channels. If you subscribe, it's free; it doesn't cost anything. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can find Marketing Minds Meet on Spotify. Go ahead and give us a follow. Rate us on there too, and you can find WA Hooper Marketing on social media: Facebook, Instagram. All the things. So once again, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Tabitha, again.
Thank you, Walter. Appreciate you.
And let's have a good one, everyone. And this has been another installation of Marketing Minds Meet. Have a good one.